At LaveLab, we've just tested the Ecovacs Goat O800 RTK, and in this video, we'll give you our honest opinion. And if you're interested in this product, we've included a link to the best price just below this video. This robot mower measures 60 by 40 by 26 centimeters and weighs 11 kilograms. It is IPX6 certified, which means it is resistant to rain and water jets from a garden hose. Underneath its structure, there are two main drive wheels, two front wheels, the cutting disc with its 3 blades, and the battery compartment. On top, the large stop button immediately catches the eye. It allows you to stop the robot in an emergency, if necessary. There is also a control panel, 3 buttons, a rain sensor, and a cutting height adjustment wheel. At the front, there is a lidar sensor and an AI camera that allow the robot to navigate the lawn. The device comes with a charging station and AC adapter for power. However, the station's power cable is only 5 meters long, which we find too short. 10 meters would have been better, as some competitors offer. If the power cable is too short for your garden layout, you will need to purchase an extension cord. 6 anchors and a hex key are included to secure the charging station to the ground. A set of 9 replacement blades is also provided. Unfortunately, this robot mower requires the installation of a small RTK beacon in addition to its station so that it can better navigate its surroundings. Installation is simple. Just place the beacon near the station without any trees or houses above it. But this process adds about 15 minutes to the robot's setup time. In total, it takes 5 minutes to set up the station and 15 minutes for the RTK beacon. The beacon connects to the station via a power cable, so it does not require batteries. The station measures 70 by 43 by 28 centimeters, making it compact. Like the robot and the RTK beacon, it has an IPX6 certification, which means it can withstand rain. An LED indicator also shows whether charging is proceeding correctly. In terms of maintenance, all you need to do is wipe the robot's lidar sensor and camera with a soft cloth from time to time. Finally, it's worth noting that this model comes with a 3-year warranty, which is reassuring in terms of its durability. So much for the design, installation, and maintenance. Now let's move on to the features. When you turn on the robot for the first time, you need to pair it with the Ecovacs Home app. This process was easy for us, but you need to have good Wi-Fi reception all the way to the station. Next, to map your lawn, you need to manually guide the robot along it. This is much more convenient than installing a perimeter cable, but it can still take a few minutes if you have a large area to cover. During navigation, the robot is connected to your smartphone via Bluetooth and records its GPS position in its memory. In fact, it does not need to be constantly connected to Wi-Fi to function. Wi-Fi is only necessary to track its position in real time in the app. Please note that you do not have to cover your entire garden on the first attempt when mapping. Once the initial mapping is complete, you can edit the map by defining restricted areas and paths, and merging or dividing areas. The robot can then be set to one of 4 mowing modes: automatic mowing to mow the entire lawn, specific area if you have saved multiple areas, edge, and manual. You can schedule mowing for certain days and times and set whether you want the robot to mow the entire area or only a specific area. Unfortunately, this model is not able to store more than 1 garden in its memory at a time. If you have a front and back garden with no access between them, this robot is not ideal. In the app, we were able to set our mowing preferences. The speed is adjustable on 2 levels, delicate and efficient, and you can choose the mowing direction, for example, from east to west. The mowing height is adjustable between 3 and 8 centimeters in increments of 0.5 centimeters using a dial on the robot. Obstacle recognition can be adjusted according to their height. 3 options are available: 10 centimeters, which is the most sensitive, 15 centimeters, which is the default setting, or 20 centimeters for the least sensitive detection. While mowing, you can track the robot live on the app if it is connected to Wi-Fi. If there are areas of the garden where the robot cannot pick up Wi-Fi, it can still navigate, but you will temporarily be unable to track it live in the app. Other features include a log of tasks performed, rain protection activation, AI animal detection, nocturnal animal protection, edge mowing settings, an alarm that activates when the robot is lifted, and the ability to change the security PIN code. When activated, both the rain protection and anti-theft alarm worked well during our tests. The robot returned to the station when we sprayed water on it, and it sounded an alarm when we lifted it for a few seconds. However, the alarm is much too quiet at 70 decibels. Finally, the Goat O800 RTK has a built-in camera, so you can connect to it via the app to see what's happening in your garden. Enough theory, let's get down to business with our performance tests. During our tests, we noticed that the robot's navigation was not perfectly consistent. It missed some areas, which can sometimes be explained by the fact that the grass is tall in those areas, but sometimes not. On our test lawn, which had large clumps of grass along the edges, the robot did not cut perfectly along these edges when set to normal sensitivity. However, when the edges had normal grass height, the robot cut well along the edges. To achieve an optimal cut of the entire area, including the edges, it is therefore best to prepare your lawn by manually cutting the tallest clumps of grass, either with another mower or with the robot in manual mode. We also tested obstacle avoidance by placing objects of different sizes on our lawn. The robot was set to the default sensitivity level of 15 centimeters. We were pleasantly surprised to find that the robot detected and avoided absolutely all the obstacles we placed in its path: barbecue, stuffed rabbit, human foot, bucket, ball, and shovel. None of them were crushed. Next, we checked whether the device could actually climb slopes with a 45% incline, or 24 degrees. In fact, it managed it just fine. In our terrain configuration, we have two mowing areas: a first, main area that is flat and very simple, and a second, more complex area where we have various vegetable beds. When testing this robot mower, we first created the first mowing area, and when we wanted to add the second area to the map, only part of this second area could be managed by the robot: the area at the back of the vegetable beds. In fact, the paths between our beds are too narrow for the robot to pass through, as it requires paths to be at least 70 centimeters wide. This is a problem we have had with all the other models we have tested so far. We managed to create the second zone at the back of the garden, where there are about 3 square meters of grass. When we did this, the app automatically created a path between the two zones. However, the robot was unable to use this path on its own to move from one zone to the other. It got stuck between two garden beds, seemingly wanting to go down a side path rather than stay on the main path. We then tried again to create a path manually, staying right in the center of the main path, but even then the robot got stuck again. We think this is because our paths are quite narrow, which makes navigation more difficult. Perhaps future updates could fix this issue. As for the areas between our vegetable beds, we were able to mow them by activating the robot's manual mode. It's not as convenient as if it could go there automatically, but it's better than nothing. The manual mode is quite responsive. The robot moves forward and backward quickly, but it is slow when it comes to turning. As for cutting performance, the first mowing was a bit laborious, but it's true that our grass was longer than the recommended maximum of 10 centimeters. Cutting grass that is more than 10 centimeters high down to 8 centimeters therefore requires more than one pass to achieve a uniform result. Our second mowing test, cutting the grass from 8 to 3 centimeters, was not perfect after one pass either. At least 2 passes by the robot are required to achieve a uniform length. Nevertheless, we were generally satisfied, especially considering the low price of this model. In terms of speed during our tests, the GOAT O800 RTK mowed at an average speed of 0.5 square meters per minute in default mode. This is twice as slow as some competing robots in the same price range. To conclude on performance, note that this model is fairly quiet when moving, but the motor in its wheels does make a little noise. Our sound level meter detected 60 decibels 1 meter away from the robot. Finally, let's finish this test by evaluating the battery life. The GOAT O800 RTK has a 4,000 mAh battery, which allows it to comfortably cover up to 800 square meters, according to the manufacturer. It can run for up to 65 minutes straight before having to return to its station to recharge. If necessary, it can resume its task where it left off when it is recharged. The full charging time is 100 minutes. Considering its competitive price, this battery life is very good, and in our opinion, it is sufficient to cover an area of approximately 800 square meters. And that's it for our test results. So, to sum it all up, the positive points of the Ecovacs GOAT O800 RTK are quick installation, even with the RTK beacon, very good obstacle detection, full range of features, able to climb and descend slopes of 45%, reasonable maintenance cost, good battery life, built-in camera accessible via the app. As for the negative points, can only handle one garden, poor navigation in narrow paths, mowing performance sometimes uneven, anti-theft alarm not very loud, 70 decibels, power cable too short, 5 meters. And that concludes our review. Thank you very much for watching. As a reminder, you will find the link to this product with its best price just below the video. And if you like honest reviews like this one, don't hesitate to subscribe to our channel.